Today, releasing 3 bald eagles is special for a number of reasons. First of all, it's the first time we've ever had just the coincidence of having 3 to release at one time. But this year has been a high point for us. We have had more eagles coming in at a faster rate than we ever have in our history. Almost one a week. Now, that's good news, bad news. The good news is there are a lot of eagles in Virginia, and there are a lot more today than there have been in perhaps 100 years. That's the good news. There are hundreds, close to 700, somewhere in the neighborhood of 700 active bald eagle nests in the state of Virginia this year. And that's very exciting. The bad news is they're getting in trouble. They're ending up being hit by cars and trucks and trains. They're being poisoned. We're finding an awful lot coming in from landfills with impact injuries, with poisoning, picking up toxic food that they're trying to eat and scavenge. And then the other thing we're seeing more than ever is eagle-on-eagle violence. And it's a little strange to try and picture eagles getting in a fight, one of them ending up in the hospital. But the bottom line is they're fighting over territory. They're fighting over nesting sites. And what that tells us is the habitat we've got is filling up. And that's just proof that we need to do a better job than we've ever done before of protecting the habitat that is left. Mason Neck State Park, Mason Neck National Wildlife Refuge, the other parks and public lands here in this beautiful enclave of nature right in the Potomac Basin, this is critical habitat for bald eagles. And that's why we have brought the birds we will be releasing. That's why we brought them here today. This area is rich in eagle population, so there are a lot of eagles from which these birds can actually learn to do eagle stuff. Learn to forage, learn what to eat, learn where to roost, what to flee from, what from which they should flee. You can make my high school English teacher happy. The truth is that this is a perfect spot for these 3 young birds. So what we're doing today, these birds have come in within the last, most of them within the last 8 weeks. I guess all 3 of them within the last 8 weeks, right? End of May was the first. Yeah, so I think the 27th of May, as I recall, was the first one of these birds that came in, and the most recent of which was just a few weeks ago. They've been in a 110-foot flight cage. One of them actually had surgery. As we get each bird out, we will tell you the story of that particular bird, where it came from and what's happened to it. But each of them has its own story. One came from nearby Prince William County, one a little further down 95 from Stafford County, and one all the way down in New Kent County. And there are basically 3 areas in which we like to release eagles. If we think it's a nesting bird, we take it back to the nest site. That's almost a given. But for young birds, they need role models. They need other eagles with which to associate and honestly from whom to steal food, because they have spent their whole flighted life in captivity. They've never caught a fish out of a river. Some of the eagles flying around here that are their same age may well have been experienced in catching their own fish. And if they catch one, they may not eat the whole thing, and what's left over will be an awfully good food for these guys that I have with me today. Now, I will give you a little heads up. Now, the 3 eagles that I've got are all this year's babies. So they all have dark heads. So that there are no white heads and white tails. They don't get that until they're 5 years old. Statistics tell us that only one of the 3 eagles we'll be releasing today is likely to make it to adulthood. That's just facts. That's natural. That has nothing to do with the fact they've been in captivity. In fact, on the contrary, of eagles that are hatched, out of every 4 eggs that actually hatch, usually it's about 1 in 4 that will make it to adulthood. Once they fledge and leave the nest, then the chances get a little better. And as time goes on, their odds increase, and they have a better chance of surviving. But that's one of the reasons it's so important to protect eagles. It takes them 5 years to reach the age at which they can reproduce. So we have to give them the opportunity to keep it going. Well, I see our crowd is just about all here, so we're going to get started. Now, what I'm going to ask folks to do, and what I'll be doing is I'll pull out each cage one at a time, and I'm going to ask people to create an alley right through here. And so if you can kind of back into a semicircle, I will stand, I'll get the birds out.